This is Extra Paycheck Podcast, episode number 83.
You're listening to Extra Paycheck Podcast, where you will learn how to build and grow your own successful online business. Now, here's your host, Alex Soul.
Welcome to yet another episode of the Extra Paycheck Podcast. This is episode number 83, and today's episode we will be talking about email marketing, about building and growing your own email list. Why is this important and what exactly is email marketing? You might have heard that email is dead, email marketing is dead, and I could assure you it's far, far from it, and even the opposite. Email marketing is as strong as it used to be. So what exactly is email marketing? Well, as the name suggests, it's marketing, selling your stuff, marketing your brand, promoting whatever you want to promote through email. And I'm not talking about the junk and spam kind of email where, you know, they sell you those ads to enlarge a certain part of yourself or to buy some kind of pills or whatever it is. I'm not talking about unsolicited emails. I'm talking about proper white hat email marketing where people willingly give you their email address and their name in exchange for some kind of information. Usually we know that as, you know, subscribe to our newsletter. That's how you see it most of the time, most big businesses. And we're going to be taking a little bit of a different approach, but let me assure you that this is not about how to illegally find some big list of people to email and to spam them. This is about building a proper email list of people who are interested in you, interested in your offer, and they want to know more about what you have to offer. Now, why is it important to build an email list? Well, most of us these days rely heavily on Google traffic or on social media traffic, and this is great because a lot of these platforms, they could provide you free source of traffic, free clients, free leads, and so on. So you post something on Facebook or on Twitter or whatever social media platform you prefer. People like what you post, they follow you, they click on your links, they buy your stuff, they read your books, they do whatever you tell them to do. Here's the problem though. You don't control any of those platforms at all. Basically, when you're posting something on Facebook, you're not posting it on your page. It's not your page. Your Facebook page, it's a page that belongs to Facebook, which they allow you to use to their liking, basically. So a few years ago, when you would, let's say you had a fan page which had 1,000 people on it, 1,000 people like your page. And whenever you would post something, an update, a picture, whatever on that page, most of the people will see, would have seen your update back then. People would know what you're posting. Then Facebook decided that they didn't like it this way and they started lowering your reach. So at this point, when you post a new update to a fan page of about 1,000 people, you would be lucky if 30 to 40 of those people actually see what you posted. If you want more reach, you have to buy Facebook ads. You have to pay Facebook to, you know, show your post, show your picture to more people. And even that, it doesn't always work properly. The same goes for many, many other social media platforms. You don't control how they work, and they could change the rules anytime, which means that if your main source of traffic or your main source of income comes from one single place and you don't control that single place, it's really bad news for you because you could lose your business overnight if something major changes in their algorithm or the way they serve their client base or any other reason. If company decides to shut down or company gets sold and they change everything around, you basically lost your business. This is why it's not a good idea to rely on one single thing. The same goes for rankings in Google. It's great to have high rankings, to be number one, but Google could change something in their algorithm and they never really tell us what they're changing and why. And you could lose your rankings, meaning that you will lose your traffic. If you pay for ads, it's the same kind of thing. You could lose all your traffic because Google ads or Facebook ads or any other ad platform decides that your offer is no longer relevant or wanted or this has happened many, many times over and over, especially for Google AdWords. My accounts have been banned and so many people got their accounts banned. Even when Google told you, you know what, 3 years ago you promoted this thing and we decided now that we don't like it. And since you were involved in it 3 years ago, we are going to ban your account. And you could try to persuade them that, well, yeah, like I was promoting something that was not in any way illegal or anything of that sort, but it's just something that you tried to promote and then you didn't like it or whatever many years ago. Yet 3 years later, Google still comes back and tells you that they're banning your account for something you have done in the past, which was perfectly fine by the rules back then, but it's not fine now. Long story, but the point is the same. You don't control any of those media, any of those sources, any of those platforms, so you have to use your own. You have to build your own. And when you build your own email list, you're the one that controls it. You're the one who decides when the emails go out. You are the one who decides what goes into those emails and so many other things. So another thing what I like about email lists is basically how some people say it's cash on demand. When you send an email, you would either see increase in sales or increase in traffic, whatever your email is about. If it's done properly, if your campaign is done properly, you will see some kind of a great result. And it's kind of on demand because when you send that email, something will happen. And usually it's something positive if you have set up everything correctly and if you know what you're doing. Another great point about email lists, it's kind of a passive income. So let me give you an example. I have an email Optin form on my website. I have the automated campaign set up on my email client. It costs me $20 per month to send unlimited number of emails to up to 2,000 people, I believe. And whenever an email goes out, people are asked to do something, either to visit a blog post, either to listen to an episode of a podcast, or to purchase something. There are different kind of tasks that I ask them. So in the past 30 days, I just looked, a small email list that I started building not too long ago brought me about $400. And as I mentioned, it cost me $20 per month to run that email list. And every month it brings me $400 and more. It's growing every single month as the number of people in my list grows. So it's a passive income in the sense that I don't have to do anything anymore. It's set up. The automated sequence of emails is set up. And emails just go out automatically to people, and that generates income for me. And this is growing and growing and growing without me doing much anymore. So that's really, really awesome part of email marketing. Okay, but how do you get into email marketing? How do you start growing an email list? Well, first of all, you would need to sign up to a provider that will help you build that list. In my case, I have tried Aweber a while ago, long time ago, and I really like them, but for whatever reason, I am not with them anymore. And I started using MailChimp about last year or 2 years ago. Yeah, about 2 years ago. And I really like MailChimp. I like the simplicity. I like how they deliver emails. And I like a lot of things about them, especially their pricing. You could start at $10 per month if you want automation. And you could start completely free if you don't want automation in your account, which means that you start building a list, you write an email, and you send it to your subscribers, which is called a broadcast email, basically. Every time you want to send an email, you have to write one and click send, and it just sends it to everyone. Now, automation is a lot better because I have a series of emails set up in a certain way, and they're all sent automatically, and I could specify, let's say, when subscriber is subscribes to my list, the first day they get this email. Then 2 days later, they get this email. Then 3 days later, they get this kind of email, and so on. So this automation helps a lot, and this automation starts very cheap. It starts at $10 per month. And if you use my affiliate link, by the way, if you go to extrapodcast.com/mail, MAIL, and you go for the $10 plan, you'll get $30 credited into your account by MailChimp. Disclaimer, I'll get $30 credited into my account as well. So that's a win-win-win for everyone. Anyway, I'm talking about MailChimp because I use them, I love them, and I trust all my email needs to MailChimp. This is why I kind of suggest using them as well. Aweber is also great, and there's so many other great companies out there, but I haven't tried most of them, so I can't really vouch for them, and I can't really tell you how good or bad they are. MailChimp works for me. This is why I'm talking about them right now. Okay, so how do you get people signing up to that email list now? So you sign up with MailChimp or any other company, and they are going to give you a code, which you could use as an opt-in form. You've seen it on many different websites. It's either a form asking for your email and your name on the sidebar of the website or somewhere within the content. Sometimes it comes as a pop-up. There are so many different ways to display that opt-in form. And when someone fills in their name and their email address in that opt-in form and they click on submit or any other kind of call to action button, they will be added to your email list. Now you could market your stuff to them. So how do you get people to click on that? Because as you've noticed, and you probably feel the same, you are kind of protective of your email. You don't just put your email anywhere on any website because you don't want people spamming you. And that's what we're getting used to, just spam, spam, spam. So we are very careful with our email addresses. Your audience is also very careful with their email addresses. So one of the great ways of getting people to sign up to your email list, you have to give them something back. You have to promise them something that they like. For instance, on the Extra Paycheck blog, I promise a 5-day training, free training to starting an online business, which is affiliate marketing. So I offer this training. I don't just tell people sign up to my newsletter. Or get more information from me. People are not interested in that. They don't care about your newsletters anymore. In fact, if they do get a newsletter at some point from somebody in their mailbox, they're either going to report it as spam or they're going to unsubscribe. Nobody reads newsletters anymore. People want something back in exchange of their email address. And you have to provide that to them. And if you know who your targeted audience is, if you know why people are coming to your website, you would be able to figure out what kind of product, what kind of information you could give them out for free in exchange of their email address. So in my case, it's a 5-day business online marketing course, which people sign up for. Now, once they sign up to your course, it doesn't just stop there. You have to start emailing them now. So what I do, and I suggest doing to most of you, the very first email that you should send out to your subscribers, we call it the welcome email. And in that email, you kind of give more details. What is that you're offering? You explain to them how often you are planning to communicate with them. You're explaining what kind of information they should expect from you in the future as well. And of course, you give them access to whatever that you're promised. Since in my case, it's a 5-day email course, I explain in the welcome email, okay, it's a 5-day email course. In day one will be sent out to you later today or tomorrow. Then the next day you'll get the day number 2, and so on and so on. And I also mentioned that after the course is over, I will keep in touch with them by sending them a lot of good, helpful information that would take them further in their business ventures online. And that's what I do. Most of my emails that are outside of my 5-day course, it's usually I talk about some of my blog posts, or I share case studies where I tell them exactly how much money I've made on a certain venture, how we set up that business, why we did it, what kind of money we made, and what kind of money it cost us, and so on. Basically, I share a lot of stuff that will help people understand online business better, or maybe it would give them ideas to start their own business, or maybe it'll give them some kind of advice to push their business forward. Anyway, I share all that information with my subscribers in the very first email. I kind of warm them up to my series of emails so they know what to expect. I also share a little bit of my private story. I tell them about myself, and this helps those people kind of relate to you and feel that you're real and you're not, once again, some big corporation or some company that doesn't care. You kind of become their friend in a way. And what I've been trying to do, at least, I try to answer to every email that I get from those subscribers, and I highly encourage them to communicate back to me because I want to hear from them. I want to improve my course. I want to hear what they think of it. I want to hear what people's struggles are. And that's also a great way to get more content ideas. If you have 20 people asking you the same question, either you're not explaining it properly in your course, or you know that you might want to write a blog post about that specific topic because so many people are interested, and you would have never thought that people would be interested in that. So there are a lot of great reasons to communicate back with your subscribers and ask them to get in touch with you if they need to. An important thing to mention here is don't ask for your subscribers' money right away. That kind of sucks. And if somebody sent you that email asking you to buy something right away, you would probably unsubscribe or spam that email. If you haven't heard of Gary Vaynerchuk's book, Jab, 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 Right Hook, I highly recommend it. It's a really great book. And the concept of Jab, 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 Right Hook is basically what it means is give, ask. So you're running a business. You will have to ask for the sale eventually. At some point, you will have to ask for the sale, and that's only normal. You are running a business. You need to make that money. But don't ask for it right away. You have to provide value. You have to give people something that they will really appreciate. You have to provide them with interesting information, with good value, with helpful stuff that they would use. And only then ask them to buy something, or propose they buy something, or offer them a discount or something. But don't do it right away. First give, and then give, and then give, and then ask. But eventually you will have to ask for that sale. Just don't do it from the very start. Take your time. So at this point, you are signed up to a company that helps you send your emails. Your email sequence is set up. You are starting to put in opt-in forms on your website, because this is how you get subscribers. You have those opt-in forms on your website, on your blog, on your Facebook page, wherever it is. And you are offering something in exchange. So your offer might say something like, learn the 10 best tips to train your dog to not bark, or here are the 10 most amazing cupcake recipes, or anything of that sort. Give your audience something that they would really want to get in exchange of their email address, and they will sign up. Now, where do you put those opt-in forms on your website? A lot of people put them in different places, and I personally try to experiment with them. I try to move them around and see what works more, what works less, so I know which forms perform better. What I've noticed works quite a bit is pop-up boxes. And I know you might think that those are annoying. I think that too. I hate pop-ups. But there's a certain way of doing them properly. At least I think there is a way of doing them properly. Now, if you serve a pop-up box asking for your reader's email right away, as soon as they land on your website, it's a major turn off. And chances are that person will leave your website forever and not come back because they got so annoyed by that pop-up. However, if your pop-up only comes when they scroll all the way down on your page, that's a lot less annoying, and it's actually interesting, because if they've read through your article, they might actually want more information. So one of the pop-ups I have set up on my page, I think it's 80% down the page. So when someone scrolls all the way down the page, or 80% down the page, they will see a pop-up, and they will be able to subscribe to my email list. I also use what's called inline opt-in forms. Those are not pop-ups, but those are simply within the article. So sometimes I put them in the middle of the article. Most of the time I put them at the very bottom of the articles. Those do not perform well at all, but they do attract subscribers from time to time. Another good opt-in you could be using, also a pop-up, it's exit intent. Basically, this means that a person has read through your website, and as they're scrolling their mouse to the little X in the corner of the browser in order to close your page or to close the tab, the pop-up will come up. So right before they leave your website. This is a good idea as well, because chances are if they read all the way through your website, they liked the information, but they got all the information they wanted. This is why they're leaving your website. They're not leaving it because they hate it. They're leaving it because they have gotten their information. Now, if you offer them something else right before they leave, there is also a chance that they will be interested and they will sign up to that offer that you're giving them, because, well, they like your website. Why aren't they going to like your offer? So exit intent, that's another proper way of doing a pop-up, at least in my opinion. And the very last one, once again, a pop-up that I have been experimenting with, is a pop-up that comes after a certain amount of inactivity. So let's say someone landed to your website and they haven't scrolled or done anything for 45 seconds, a pop-up window will show up. If they haven't scrolled or clicked on anything for 45 seconds, there's a chance that they just got distracted and they aren't looking at your website or whatnot. So that could be a good timing to offer them something interesting, a very, very cool offer that they wouldn't be able to resist, and they would sign up to your email letter. All right, so that's about it for the setup and using of email marketing. A few more tips that I'd like to offer. As I mentioned at the very beginning, do not spam your subscribers. I would suggest not emailing them too often. Maybe you could start with daily email for a week or two, but then you have to slow it down. I would never email someone more than twice a day, and even twice a day would be stretching. It will have to be some crazy deal going on online or something very, very important and special for me to email a person more than once a day. So it's really, really, really rare that I would do that. But I would suggest once a day maximum, and after a week or two, slowing it down to maybe emailing them twice a week, 3 times a week, or something like that. Another important point here is to not stop emailing them, because if you send all this cool stuff to these people and they got all the value, whatever, and then you stop emailing for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and then when you start again, by that time they will forget who you are and why are they on your list. So a high chance of them unsubscribing or marking you as spam simply because they don't remember that they actually signed up to your list. So don't leave your subscribers in the dark. Try emailing them at least once a month or twice a month. It shouldn't be that hard. Another thing that I've been doing with success is not writing super long emails. I write kind of a short summary in my email, and I lead them to a page on my blog that goes in detail in whatever I'm talking about. So sometimes I actually write promotional email letters for my own blog posts. If I write a really good blog post, I'll just tell people in the email, hey, I wrote this blog post about this and that, and this is why it's amazing, and this is why you should check it out, and here's the link. So go check it out. That's another way of doing it. You don't have to give everything within your email. All right, so that's about it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like it, and I hope you learned something new. If you have any questions, do not hesitate and let me know what's on your mind. I will try to answer your questions. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. And as usual, I will be putting up a show notes page at extrapodcast.com/83. This is where you can write those questions and I'll answer as much as I can. You could also leave any kind of feedback on that page, and I will be providing some links and other resources related to this episode on that page. Also head over to extrapodcast.com/iTunes in order to subscribe to the show, leave a rating and a review, which will help me tremendously. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you next Monday.